Dear colleagues, since this patient was not able to cooperate under topical, phacoemulsification in this case was done by Subtenon Block on the table. Here it is. A small conjunctival cut in the inferonasal quadrant. Now, this Westcott scissor is being used for dissection to some extent. Now, a long 23G curved blunt cannula is being used to inject a mixture of Lignocaine and Bupivacaine. About 2.5 ml of this mixture is injected, and within 30 seconds we are going to get cooperation of this patient. That's it. Now I am asking the patient to look down, and here it is. The patient is able to look down. Now I use a forceps in this case because the eye can move any moment. And now this is the main incision. It's a 2.8 millimeter posterior limbal incision. A very small side port is being made on the right side of the main incision, and this is a side port on the left side of the main incision. And now the anterior capsule of this cataractous lens is to be stained with trypan blue dye underneath this air bubble. And here goes the 0.06% trypan blue dye. The dye must be spread evenly over all parts of the anterior capsule uniformly, and since the dye is not diluted by aqueous humor, staining of the anterior capsule is immediate. The dye is washed out, and now 2% hydroxypropyl methyl cellulose is injected into the anterior chamber. Now I am going to use a 26 gauge bent needle to raise a capsular tag, so that I can hold it easily with this Utata forceps. You hold this tag and go anti-clockwise. In this case I am aiming for a rhexis of about 5 millimeter because I want the lens, the periphery of the lens, to be overlapped by the anterior capsular rim. Now I do hydro dissection. Very small amount of fluid is injected at multiple points. The nucleus is tapped and then rotated. And now the tip of the phaco handpiece is to be introduced into the anterior chamber. In this case, what I did is I went bevel down and I held the nucleus in the bevel down manner and chopped it. Here it is. Some cortex is removed. Now I rotated it for a moment. Now I'm going to hold this nucleus in the bevel down manner and chop it. Rotate the nucleus and chop it here again. One nuclear piece becomes free. I make the bevel sideways and emulsify it. Here I make this nuclear piece free, emulsify this. Ultrasonic energy used in this case is 65%. Flow rate is 40 and vacuum is 400. This is the last nuclear fragment. At this time what I do is I remove the chopper so that anterior chamber becomes more stable. That's it. The nucleus is managed, and now What I do is inject a little bit of viscoelastic substance, and now I'm using a 23 gauge Simcoe cannula to remove the cortical matter. That's it. Cortical matter is removed. Some cortex is there in front of the sideboard. Yes, that is also removed. And now in this case, under irrigation, a hydrophobic acrylic single piece intraocular lens is being implanted. Here it is. The irrigating probe goes into the anterior chamber first, then the cartridge is engaged and the lens is injected into the capsular bag. Since the rhexis is of right size means the periphery of the intraocular lens will be nicely covered by the anterior capsular rim. Now I can see some cortex at 6 o'clock. So what I am doing is, this is a bit of moxifloxacin. Now I take the Simcoe cannula. Hydration in this case of these side ports are not required because the side ports have not been used much. Now I remove this cortex, form the antechamber, and here it is. See how to form the antechamber. Keep it like this and come out. Dear colleagues, in this case we have managed an uncooperative patient using Subtenon Block on the table. We must do whatever is necessary to manage a case. Please develop your surgical skills and give very good service to the mankind.